listening to Who's Tom and Dick, a weekly podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers, fighting stage 4 lung cancer, and Patrick Mortimer, living with heart disease. Why not grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy the chatter as we discuss and share information, talking about tough subjects, and offering help, support, and motivation with a positive mental attitude.
Good morning, Martin. How are you?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm really good this morning because I'm so relaxed. We're in your office today, aren't we?
I know.
We was at my place last time.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of an impromptu sort of podcast this morning, isn't it? Because we were due to do a podcast with a guest called Phil, who suffers from type 1 diabetes. We have touched on type 1 diabetes. Well, we haven't. We've touched on diabetes generally in the past. And we thought we'd do a session on type 1 and type 2 diabetes and found a great guest. But unfortunately, he's suffered a cold, and with your immune system, we can't afford to take any risks. So we'll be doing that one next week, hopefully.
Especially as I'm having my treatment on my immunotherapy at the end of this week. So don't want nothing to... But I've been in your office. I've got a stool I can put my feet up on.
Yeah, you can relax.
Never had that luxury before in an interview.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. You look very cosy sitting there.
I do. Got a cup of tea as well.
I've made you a cup of tea. I haven't offered you a biscuit.
No. I'm looking... Now Linny's back home, I'm looking after my figure again.
Good.
I let it go for a little while with an apple pie.
Oh, well.
But it's funny how when we do an impromptu interview or talk, there's always something to talk about, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there's always something between one of us who's got something wrong. And today, we're going to talk about both of us, aren't we?
Mine, thankfully, is cleared up now.
Yeah, you had a bad back.
Yeah, I got a new garden and I went out and dug a hole for a tree. And I was all right for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden I got this, well, it wasn't really a bad back. It was a real bad pain on the right-hand side of my back. I knew it wasn't skeletal because I could get myself in a position where I could alleviate the pain, but if I twisted or moved in a certain way, God, blimey, that pain was really bad, and it made me feel sick as well and nauseous.
Well, that's why we worried about what with all your heart attack. Well, when I say we, that was me and Linny was talking about it at home, and Linny said, tell him to get checked out. And did you get checked out?
No. We always tell people to get checked out, but
I know.
The reason I suppose I didn't get checked out is because I've had 2 heart attacks, so I know what the symptoms are normally. I'm not saying I know every symptom, but I know a lot of the symptoms. And this felt like a muscle injury because I could make it worse simply by twisting or moving. If it's an organ injury or something wrong with one of the organs, I don't think that happens. You just get the pain or you don't get the pain. So I didn't think I'd got an organ issue. I just thought that was a muscle issue.
Well, what you were doing, you was bending a lot, I suppose, doing something you don't normally do.
Well, I had no idea what this pain was until Wendy said, well, you did go in the garden last week or a couple of days ago and put that damn tree in. And what I was doing, because the ground is so hard, I had me spade and I was really ramming it into the ground. So not only was I sort of using those muscles that I haven't used for a long time, I was also shocking those muscles because as the spade hit the ground, obviously that stops dead.
The ground is hard around here at the moment, is it?
Yeah, it's very hard, yeah.
You see, I'd have thought because it's quite a new house and topsoil you've had put in and things like that, I'd have thought you'd have... that'd have been a piece of cake.
Well, it's all right getting through the topsoil, but then there's clay underneath about
right.
half a foot down. And then, of course, you know what clay is like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But your tree's in now and you're feeling better.
My tree looks well. No, so I didn't get checked out simply because I self-diagnosed, rightly or wrongly. And I said to Wendy, I'll give it 7 days. And if it doesn't ease within 7 days, then I'll go and get an appointment. I didn't think it was life-threatening. And it did get better slowly.
Yeah.
And within the 7 days, it was still there, but nowhere near as painful. I mean, the first and second day of it coming out, that was really excruciating pain.
I remember doing a WhatsApp video and seeing your posture.
Yeah. That's me. Now we're going to talk about...
a nice subject.
Your cracks, preferably on your feet.
Yes, I've got cracks on my feet. I tell you what, Pat, I can still feel it right now and I'm having treatment for it, and it is so sore. It is like an open cut.
Oh, right. They're that deep, are they?
Well, yeah, and then there's another one that's just cracked, which is right in the middle. But the trouble is, it's where you walk, you see. And last week, I went round my old village with my brother, and my feet were, as I say, my dogs were barking.
Yeah.
That's an old saying. Talking of old sayings, we're going to talk about them later on.
Yeah.
But
So how long have you had this bloomin' crack feet?
to let everybody know, I've got type 2 diabetes. This is the one where I'm on the cusp.
On the cusp?
On the cusp.
You always talk about being on the cusp.
Yeah. But I've obviously had diabetes, type 2, and you are prone to getting cracked feet and things like that. So I've had the cracked feet now for a little while, and I've been to the doctor about it, and the doctor didn't seem to know much. He said, it's the after effects from your chemotherapy. And that was his answer to it.
Right.
And then I saw another person at the doctor's who was training. He looked at them. He said, yeah. He said, you're on your chemotherapy and now you're on your immunotherapy. So it's just a thing from that. And I thought, that's not an answer, is it, really? Why have I got cracked feet?
They didn't give you a remedy then?
No. So I made another appointment at the doctor, and he said, I'll give you some cream for it. So he's given me some cream, and I'm currently on this cream at the moment. But it's all it seems to be doing is getting rid of the hard skin on my feet, but because the crack is still there.
Right.
It's still, like an open wound. And today, as I say, not because I was driving here, because I drive other places, it feels really, really sore.
Mm-hmm. A crack is a wound, isn't it? And being on your feet, you can't rest it really, can you? Because you're on your feet all the time.
Well, yeah, because I like to potter around in my garden when I can and do what I can.
You need something to close that wound and seal it, don't you?
Well, yeah, I had a plaster on it, and it felt a lot better with a plaster on it, but the doctor said, keep the plaster off.
Right.
So anyway, today, believe it or not, I've got a phone consultation with my oncologist, which is before my immunotherapy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask him to recommend that I see a foot specialist about it.
Yeah.
Just see if he'll put me forward, because my doctor hasn't, and it might get quicker through oncology. You don't know.
No.
So
got to put your first foot forward.
Yes, one step at a time.
Any
boom, boom.
any trick?
Laughing at my own jokes now.
Yeah, no, you normally do, because nobody else does. But anything triggers this, or is it just constant?
It's constant, and even when I'm laying in bed at night times, oh my God, what I have to do, because you told me about that trick about falling asleep. Well, I can't do it at the moment because of my feet, because where I lay, my heel is right on your mattress.
Yeah.
So what I have to do, I have to put my right foot down, and I have to put that foot over the top and hover it so it doesn't touch anything.
Right. So
it's that sore.
Is this on your heel then?
Yeah, it's right on my heel. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like now, I've just crossed my legs, and I can feel the blood rushing down to it, and the pain is sort of going a little bit.
Yeah.
It's when I put the pressure on the floor. I mean, I'm not limping, but it's just so sore. So I think I might go back to a plaster on it to cushion it.
Yeah, I think it's it's like a open wound. I don't think. Well, I don't know, but
it is an open wound. It's actually split.
Yeah,
and blood was coming out of it the other day, and that's why I went to the doctors.
Right.
Because what I was worried about was getting blood poisoning.
Yeah.
Sepsis, which I was hospitalised for. So that was the reason why I called the doctor. Well, anyway, he gave me this cream, but he also gave me some antibiotics. I've just finished yesterday a week of antibiotics, because he'd felt it all. He said, I don't think it's warm. So he said, I don't think there's any infection in it. But he felt it with his gloves.
Yeah.
And I thought, how can he feel warmth through his rubber gloves? But I've looked at it. Well, I haven't looked at it because I can't see it. What I have to do, I have to take a selfie of my heel so I can see what's happening. Because I thought it must be healing by now. Healing, get it? Another joke?
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's not. It's still the same. But the good thing is there's no blood coming from it.
No.
So, but it's just bloomin' sore.
Well, I can't see how cream I can see how cream will possibly get rid of dead skin.
Yeah, it is.
But I can't see how it will solve a injury or a crack.
No, it is like you say, like it's an injury. It's probably about 1 centimetre long, but it's definitely open. But as I say, at least there's no blood coming from it.
I think you might be better off with some like cotton wool and some medical tape and strap that foot up so that, it's been cushioned.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
Aren't you?
And I'm just...
Thank you, Patrick, for that.
I'm just thinking what might be...
So this bloke who's trained for about 8 years, he didn't come up with that, but you've come up with it in 5 minutes.
Exactly. Well, it's amazing what you learn on the podcast. So I'd try and bind it in some shape or form because it's like a cut on your hand or an open wound.
And the trouble is, though, your feet, you're always on your feet.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm saying, something to cushion it.
If it does heal up a bit, it's going to open up again when you start walking. So, apart from hopping, which...
Do you sit with your foot up, and just rest your foot when you're at home?
I do at home on the settee because we've got 2 sofas in the lounge. Linny sits on one and I sit on the other. And I actually put I normally have my right foot down, but my left leg that's still got the cut on it, I normally put that up because it feels better higher. So that's what I'll do on your stool here, Pat. Look.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You might be better to push the stool forward so your foot is hanging off the edge.
Thank you, doctor.
I'm not a chiropractor. Mind you, they do backs, don't they?
Do they?
I'm not a therapist.
Good.
But
there's nothing wrong with my back.
Poor old boy. Never mind.
Less of the old.
Anyway, do you remember last week or the week before we spoke about what your mum used to say?
I did, yeah. I came up with some classic sayings.
Well, that intrigued me about, there's a lot of Suffolk sayings and things like that.
We better tell the listeners that's where we live in Suffolk.
We live in Suffolk, which is a county in East Anglia. And there's a lot of Suffolk sayings which probably relate to what your mum used to say. So I did a bit of research to see what I could find.
Yeah.
And I found some.
Some of these old sayings in Suffolk are things that people who don't live here wouldn't even understand.
Now, I can't remember whether we used this one last week. I don't think we did. I've tried to single out ones that I don't think we used. But correct me if I'm wrong. The first one I've got is as useful as a chocolate teapot. That refers to something that is completely impractical or useless.
Or sometimes they say a chocolate fire guard, don't they?
Or a chocolate fire guard,
because, yeah. And the thing obviously is because the chocolate gets melted.
Yeah. Well spotted, Martin. You're not as thick as you look.
No, I'm not. Not just a pretty face.
You can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
The saying suggests that one is so focused on the details at hand that they miss the bigger picture.
Really?
Yeah.
I've known that saying for years. Well, ever since I was a kid. Yeah. Because as you stumbled over the beginning, I was going to actually tell you what it was, but you corrected yourself.
So you didn't know the meaning then?
No, not really. No.
Yeah.
No. I just thought it was that you can see better.
Oh, right.
That's what I thought. You can't see the wood for the tree,
I don't know whether you've heard of this one. I hadn't. It will be a wet and windy night.
No.
Meaning, often used to predict bad weather, reflecting the area's maritime climate.
Never heard that in my life.
Nope. Don't make much sense, that one to me.
No.
He's all hat and no cattle.
That's a farmer saying that.
Describes someone who talks big but doesn't have the substance to back it up.
No, I never heard that one.
He's all hat and no cattle. Now, you'll have heard this one. A stitch in time saves 9.
I have, yeah. So if you've got a hole in your jumper and there's a little hole, do it straight away. Otherwise, it'll be huge.
Well, yeah, taking care of a problem early can prevent it becoming bigger later on.
Yeah.
So it's probably originated from, people used to darn socks, didn't they?
Yes.
We throw them out now if we get a hole in them.
That's gone now, that old thing, hasn't it? Darning.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, yeah, that's another saying. I bet if you said to youngsters, have you darned a sock lately, they wouldn't even know what you meant, would they?
I reckon that went out in about the 70s, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. My aunties and my nan and all them were very good at darning.
Yeah.
I remember them giving them socks to darn. Mum was always out working, so she never had the time. And, my aunties were very good. But then they used to knit a lot of socks for me for work because I was in the building trade. And in the winter, I used to have woolen socks. Of course, in your work boots, the heels used to wear out a bit. Yep. Used to give them back to them.
Heels used to wear out a bit.
Heels in the socks.
Could this relate to your heel problem?
You never know. I might have. I'm heavy-heeled.
Yes. So you used to get your socks darned.
Yeah, it's a hell of a technique. I've watched my aunties do it. It's like crossing over and then up, under, and then just keep going across.
What an explanation that was.
I know, but it is.
We've lost most of our listeners now after that, I reckon. Here's one you'll know. Too many cooks spoil the broth.
Yep.
Having too many people involved in a task can lead to confusion and poor results. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a simple one, really.
Yeah.
When the cat's away, the mice will play.
That's right, yeah.
People often act differently when authority figures are absent, leading to mischief. That's what that one means. There you go.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, I knew that one, yeah.
Did you? An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yes, yeah. So they say.
Meaning eating healthy foods can contribute to good health and reduce the need for medication.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because you're meant to have, is it 5 a day, aren't you?
Yeah.
Not just 5 apples, though.
But then I learned that bananas have a high content of potassium, and that's not good for you.
They do. And that's what I was told to build up my, not potassium. Oh, I can never remember what I'm lacking in. Magnesium. They said to have bananas.
Is that all you're lacking in? I don't know. But that one comes from Wales from the 19th century, apparently.
From Wales?
Yeah, because we're not doing the Suffolk sayings now. I've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
If you go outside with wet hair, you'll catch a cold.
Yeah.
You've heard that one?
We mentioned something like that last week, or the last time, I think.
I think I was sitting on the cold wall, give you to piles.
No, my mum used to say that, don't go out of the wet hair. I think I used to.
This tale apparently comes from a belief that exposure to cold conditions can lead to illness. It's been around for generations.
See, my theory from my wife is that that's not right, because it's all of the bugs and things that you catch that make you ill. It's not the wet hair.
Well, it says here.
And the viruses.
Yeah. Well spotted. It says here, while wet hair itself does not cause colds, they are caused by viruses.
There you go.
It emphasises the importance of staying warm and healthy.
I hate to say it, but she's always right, my wife.
She's listening to this, you know.
I know.
Here you go. Step on a crack, break your mother's back.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Do you know what the meaning is?
No, my kids used to say that when they were younger.
It serves as a playful warning about being careful while walking. It symbolises the belief that certain actions can bring bad luck.
That's more of an old wives' tale, isn't it, that one?
As a children's rhyme, likely emerged in the 19th century, reflecting superstitions around luck and misfortune.
In the 19th century, my kids were still saying it in 1990.
Yep. Eating carrots improves your sight.
Yeah, so they say. There must be something in the vitamins in the carrots that is good for your eyesight, I reckon.
You're bloody hot today. Yeah. Red hot you are.
Anyone would think I've read these?
Yeah.
I haven't.
While carrots are good for overall health and contain vitamin A, they don't significantly improve vision beyond normal levels. Significantly. So are they suggesting that they might help?
Yeah, I think that, then if it's got vitamin A, then it's got to help, hasn't it?
Did you know that this myth was gained popularity during World War II when British pilots were said to eat carrots to enhance their night vision, partly to explain their success in combat?
Yeah, they always say about, like you said, seeing in the dark.
I always thought that come from rabbits eating carrots, and they can see well in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, why do they stand in the road when you're heading towards them in the car?
Yeah, they don't see very well then.
Crackle your knuckles will give you arthritis.
Never heard that one.
While cracking knuckles doesn't cause arthritis, it may lead to other joint issues over time.
Yeah.
Here we go. Pregnant women should avoid cats to prevent birth defects.
Really?
Well,
what's the meaning behind that then?
The tale likely stems from concerns about toxoplasmosis.
That's easy for you to say.
I said it without a fault there. A parasite that can be transmitted through cat's feces.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with dogs. And Linny always says about me letting Benny lick me. Because I had this theory that if he licked my head, my hair will come back. It did. Look, it's worked. Look.
I really don't know how you've got through life.
But like she said, there's so many things in their saliva, and I shouldn't do it. Especially if I had when he licks my hand. If I've I've got a cut on my hand. I'll make sure that he doesn't lick my hand because obviously they like the blood, don't they?
Yeah.
And so I'll make sure just in case I don't want to get an infection from him.
You do realise before he licks your head, he's been licking his balls, don't you?
Probably.
Perhaps you think your head is a big ball. While it's wise for pregnant women to take precautions regarding cat litter, the fear is often exaggerated. Proper hygiene can mitigate the risks. There you go. That's what we're just talking about.
Yeah.
Proper hygiene.
Yeah.
A full moon causes strange behaviour.
That is actually fact.
Is it?
Yeah. You should know this. We worked in care homes and they always used to say if it's a full moon, the residents will play up.
Did they?
And they, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Even where Linny was working, when she was a chef, the full moon, and they used to play up.
Wasn't it in the care home we had in Transylvania?
Yeah, that's right. But no, that's fact.
Meaning that while some people believe the full moon affects emotions and actions, scientific evidence does not strongly support this idea. This belief dates back to ancient cultures where the moon was thought to influence human behaviour, leading to terms like lunatic.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why you get on with some.
Oh, yeah, see, Luna. Yeah, I didn't know that word
that's
came
new,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No use crying over spilt milk.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste time worrying about past mistakes. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what that means. This saying likely comes from rural life, where spilled milk was a common occurrence. It emphasises the fertility of lamenting over something that has already happened and cannot be changed.
Mm.
Did I read that right? Did that make sense?
No, yeah. You read it very slowly, but it did.
Yeah.
It did come over. So you can see that you shouldn't. Yeah, once it's gone, it's gone.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
Take advantage of favourable conditions while they last.
Well, that's what the farmers used to do, didn't they? You get all the hay in when it was nice and dry.
Cars, you're red hot, ain't you? Is your bottom burning sitting there or something?
No, just me heels sore.
The origin from this saying comes from agricultural practices, where farmers needed good weather to harvest and store hay.
It is almost as if I've read this, isn't it?
Yeah. You can't see through the back of this paper.
No, I haven't looked.
Here you go. Heard of this one? You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, which is just fact, isn't it?
Achieving a goal often requires some degree of loss or effort. That's what that means. I didn't realise. The phrase has been used since the 17th century with roots in French and English. It reflects the idea that some sacrifices are necessary to achieve something worthwhile.
It's amazing how far back these sayings come from, isn't it? 17th century.
Yeah, so that's the 1600s.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. For those that can't calculate that. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah, heard that one.
Don't assume you will achieve something until it actually happens. This saying has been traced back to Aesop's fables, highlighting the dangers of assuming success before it is certain.
That's even further back than the 1600s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aesop's.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Going back a bit.
Yeah. Did you used to say them then when you was around at that time?
Not that one, no. No. I would have asked you if I'd have had a chance. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Meaning difficulties often come all at once rather than individually. The phrase likely originated in the 19th century, newish one, this one, illustrating how problems often come in clusters, similar to how rain comes in heavy downpours. Fair enough.
Yes.
The early bird catches the worm.
Catches the worm, yeah. That's an old saying, as they say.
those who act quickly and decisively often achieve success. And that comes from the 17th century.
Mm-hmm. That's the 1600s.
That is.
People who didn't know.
Here's one for Benny. Barking up the wrong tree.
Right.
You've heard that, yeah?
Yeah.
Pursuing a mistaken or misguided course of action. Doesn't say when that one comes from.
No.
And I've just got a couple more. I've never heard of this one. Swallowing gum takes 7 years to digest.
Well, I've never heard that, but what I have heard is that swallowing gum will make something grow inside you, like a tree or something like that. not a tree, but
you were on fire. You just distinguished that.
No, it makes something grow inside you.
Well, this myth is circulated for generations, likely to discourage children from swallowing gum. Gum is not digested in the same way as food, but it typically passes through the digestive system within a few days.
Yeah. No, my mum used to say something about don't swallow chewing gum.
That's it.
And I can't remember what she said would grow in me, but
a tree,
yeah,
apparently.
A tree? No, not a tree, but as you talking about a tree,
you're branching out all over.
I know, but
perhaps that's where the family tree comes from.
You never know. Well, I'll tell you what, I've heard of a lot of those. A couple of them really surprised me. I'd never heard of them.
Yeah.
Because being 64, you'd think, and you're 63.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd have heard of a lot of those. But, yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Well, we're approaching the end of this podcast, believe it or not.
We are.
So we've got time for a joke, I guess. So, shall we have...
Are you going to introduce it?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to turn off now, please welcome Martin's Joke of the Week.
Well, this is quite a short one, really. So I don't know if I told you, but I spent £300 on a limo and discovered the fee doesn't include a driver. I spent all that money and I have nothing to show for it.
Dear, oh dear. Do you know what? I bought some deodorant the other day.
Did you?
I took the top off and it said push up the bottom.
Oh,
that was painful. That was painful. There you go.
Can't walk properly now.
Well, guys, we're interviewing another celebrity for next week's podcast.
We are,
and
yeah.
It's going to be Griff Rhys-Jones. And we'll be going round to his humble home here in Suffolk.
Yeah.
To carry out the interview. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he only lives about 45 minutes away from where I am because I looked it up last night. So, no, but that'll be quite interesting because he's been on TV for years, hasn't he?
Yeah, I remember him in Mel and Smith. Was it Mel and Smith?
Alas, Smith and Jones.
I remember him in Alas, Smith and Jones.
That's right.
With Mel Smith, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, they used to look at each other from the other side of the table with their hands on their chins and talk about things like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
So perhaps we'll have to get photographed like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Be good.
But no, it should be interesting because he's still on TV now, doing his trips all over the world, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's still topical.
Very topical.
That'll be interesting anyway.
What are you up to this week? Anything exciting?
I've got me immunotherapy on Friday, so next week I won't feel like doing much at all, really, because I've normally got a foggy brain, as that lady said from the farm.
Yeah, you've adopted that phrase now, haven't you?
Yeah, I like that. So,
the thing is, dare we speak about the football? The lucky Arsenal game. How many goals did they get again? 4, wasn't it?
4, yeah. And how many did Ipswich get? 0. We went to football together. And it's quite hard, really, because Patrick's a die-hard Ipswich supporter, and I'm an Arsenal supporter. And when Arsenal scored, I did have to go, yes!
Yes, you did.
4 times. And the lady in front turned round as if to say, you can't cheer in this stand.
Yeah. You did get some funny looks. But never mind. I have to congratulate you on Saka's acting ability.
Oh. Best we don't go there.
He must have went to RADA for that.
A lot of people won't understand what happened.
No,
but,
we'll cut it there.
Yeah.
But it was a good game, I suppose. And
it was, yeah. And the best team won.
Lovely weather, lovely food.
Yeah.
And
good.
Nice company.
Yes. Has today been as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's another podcast done.
That's another one wrapped.
So thanks very much for listening, everybody.
Yep, thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you back next week, same place, same time, with Griff Rhys-Jones.
Yeah, bye, everybody.
Take care. Have a good
Bye.
week.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Who's Tom and Dick podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers and Patrick Mortimer. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite streaming platform. New episodes are available every Friday. Thanks for tuning in.